What's up, guys? And you may see something a little odd on their screen currently. You see a world map. Yeah. Well, what's so special about it? Well, I'm gonna be making my very own Wixo. And if you don't know what that is, Wixo is short for What If Civilization Started Over. And basically, it's an Addis Pro video thing. You should go check it out before you watch any of this, because this is gonna be way better, bro. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not good at this stuff. But anyway, so what's gonna happen here is just eradicate all human beings, and then just like restart human. Yeah, it's just in the name. All right. So let's get on with it. The world will start down in this down in the southern area of the Arabian Peninsula, and we're gonna show that by having the best ever color appear in human history. The best color in human history, red. So this little area right here in the whole world has at least like 500 people. It's gonna start expanding rapidly. I wouldn't know what year this is, but it's a year, honestly. But yeah. So we're just gonna skip about like 100 years, so that this is actually amount of people that can actually do stuff. So these people, they're gonna start expanding outwards, and they're just gonna settle in these areas where no one has ever settled before. Now, they don't really have very much things going for them. It's kind of just go in water, punch fish, eat food, reproduce. It's kind of life for these individuals. But they're like, how about we go outwards to find different food? So they decide to go just outwards in an area. This is them versus a whole world. You see these little guys down here? They have no idea what's here yet, but yeah. Anyway, they're going to expand. I'm going to change my brush size just to make this a little easier. And at this point, there's at least like 100,000 people in this little area right here. 100,000. No, not 100,000. That's way too much. 10,000. We're gonna go with 10,000. There's definitely a bunch more people everywhere, but I'm gonna do the same thing as Addis and just like, this is all that we care about currently. So we're saying all to the other human beings, the little cave people, this team right over here, they're better than you. We're gonna skip a few 100 years again. Okay, this is them in 100 years. They expanded out and they have a pretty good idea on how civilization works. You're like, wait, how do we function correctly? Well, that's simple. They figured that out. And what we're gonna show it to how they figured it out. Boom. They are gonna have a capital. This is their capital city. Now, that's pretty cool. It's not really, but it's just a capital city. Now, anyway, they are going to continue expanding. That is not the color I wanted. They're gonna continue expanding. And around their capital, So at one point, one guy, so they're just gonna keep expanding up. Okay, so it's been a few years now, and they have their king. Their king is a kind of has a obsession with land currently. And that king, he's like, yo. So I noticed that we are surrounded by water. And because of this, like, is there just more land north, or are we just on an island? We should send people to go and see that. So he does go and send a few explorers, and they kind of just cut their way, all their ways through. They cut just a bunch of ways through to get to the north. And basically we're just going to fill in that part because it looked weird and there's a bunch of people. So those people are going to start exploring. They're going to follow the coast, because who doesn't want to follow the coast? They follow the coast, and eventually they stop seeing water. So like, yo, so they go back down to the king, and they're like, yo, king, we're not on an island. We're like, oh, cool. That means we have land to conquer. Go explore it. So they walk all the way back, a little annoyed that they had to go back here, but they kind of just start exploring around this area. They notice that there is a desert over here, but they don't want to go into it because, well, they'll die. Now the king sends different explorers over here to see what's happening. So these explorers, they make it to this side of a peninsula. Now they could probably see over here, they're just like, that's a pretty wide area, how are we supposed to get to that? They don't know, so they kind of just go up and see if they can find a way around it. So basically, they're just expanding and exploring. So at this time, there's at least 100,000 people in this whole country, like everywhere, because all of their land is habitable, I would say, to an extent. But we're gonna keep exploring this area up here. Whoa, we're having so much fun, possibly dying. Whoa. Anyway, while they're doing that, these guys, they're just gonna be exploring, trying not to die. They notice that there's some land over here, but the king's like, nah, you should go north. So they don't go that way. They don't go east. They just keep expanding their land. Whoa. So they just keep expanding their land until after at least a few months of walking, they have reached the Caspian Sea. Now, this is them currently, right now. It's pretty cool. Got water access all around their country except here. It's just kind of just mountains. That's why they probably would not have gotten here. There's like 4 people over here that survived, I would assume. I don't know. So anyway, after a bit of expanding, they're like, enough's enough, we're gonna go back down and tell the king about this. They tell the king. The king's like, alright, cool, here's your money. Here's the thing. They're kind of people seeing that there's cool stuff up here. There's like no people over here because they don't care about this. There's only people around the capital and up here. So the red guys, everyone's just gonna be expanding, to be honest, since they moved most of their stuff up here except the government. and at some point they reach this side of the Mediterranean, the east. I'm doing the same thing Adisro does. Wow. I don't. Okay, I understand what he goes through now. I understand it. I understand it now. I understand it now. I've played these games for. Okay. But anyway. So now that there's factors here, there's barely any people down here. And the people that are here, they're like, hey, our country's getting used unfairly. What do we do about that? Nothing. Because we can't do anything. So anyway, expansion, as usual, permitted by the king. They just love their expanding. But expedition over here has not been cancelled. Because the king never said to stop moving. So they're just gonna keep expanding upwards. And just all over the place. And get lost. And then eventually they reach the other area. And the king's pretty happy with himself. Nice little area here. All inferior other humans not in that area here. According to him, not me. With more expansion over here, the people down here, especially the king, they're like, how about our capital gets moved here? I mean, here. And now, since there's nothing really being used down here, the people that originally live here can start their plan. The blue team breaks away. They break away from the red team, and they start just claiming what's theirs. They want. Blue team, crank that soldier boy. But anyway, the red team's like, you know what, that's cool. You know what, we weren't using that land anyway. So, like, whatever, keep it. More provinces in the land kind of break off towards the blue team. Because they're like, you know what, we're having the same troubles as you, my friend. Yeah, and then they set their capital to be the old one. So, now this leaves us with two countries. One being the blue team. And the blue team, now being a new country, is gonna wanna see land not theirs, which will make themselves look really cool. Since there's nothing really here, though, they can kind of just take it. Blue team's just gonna take it. And basically, the blue team's gonna be as annoying as they possibly could be to the red team. Just gonna do things like this. You know, getting in their land. Or what the red team says is their land, even though there's no land. Anyway, that's gonna be that, and the red team here will take the rest. So this is our map currently, right now. Blue team, red team, wow. Original, yes I know, thank you. What's the red team gonna do about this? Absolutely nothing, because they just don't care. So they are going to expand into this area, which I forgot. It's Suez, I think. They're gonna leak into their African stuff that they discovered. And they're gonna go. And the king that was originally down there, he's like, yo bro, I think I'm gonna die. So he dies. And everyone's so upset that they literally keep doing what they're doing and don't stop anything. Because they already have a new king. It's his son. Yes, his son. Yeah, because that's how that works. Anyway. So his son's like a billion times more expansionist than he is. He's like, it's really hot down here. Why don't we try going south in Africa? And so they do. They start going down south. They start going. Oh my god. They go down south into Africa. It appears to just keep getting hotter, but So they kind of just abandoned that idea. And so they're like, hey, if going south didn't work, how about we go north? But the king's like, no, how about we go south? So, you know what? And then they're just like, you know what, fine, we'll go south. Okay, fine, you'll go south, actually. And that is this green color. They are gonna go over. They're just gonna be like, screw you, we're going our way. So they're like, so they land around Romanian areas with a few thousand people on their side. And they're like, whew, wow, this area is way cooler. We like it. And there's also water, so we could prosper around this water. Gasp! Also, we need a capital. Right here will be their capital. Because who doesn't love capitals? Anyway, they're going to start expand, and they eventually find Crimea. They are going to inhabit that area. And they're just going to go back down into Turkey, Istanbul. Not sure why that's connected. That shouldn't be connected, but whatever. I don't want to paint there. But anyway, they go into Turkey, right here. This is really bugging me. Anyway, we're going to continue our expansion. At this time, I would assume people build rafts. They have to be just lucky to get across water. They have rafts. They use rafts because they see how their logs or items float on the water. They're like, yeah. But anyway, these guys also find trees. They're like, ooh, how about we use these to our advantage? So anyway, they are just gonna expand across this area, not wanting to go down here because it's very mountain area, so it was very painful to get over here. So they continue their march north. Gonna keep going up, and eventually they're like, yeah, this is good enough for now. So there's 3 countries: the blue, red, and green. What's next in the world? There's gonna be the red team. They're like, these guys, they're doing stuff over here. How about no? We don't like people doing stuff, so we are just gonna take that away from you. But ew, there's mountains. I don't feel like going across that. So they decide to go over here. But wait, I forgot our main objective. South. Going south. And they're like, you know what? They were probably a good idea. How about let's go expand near the north of Africa. Now the blue team. The blue team's like, yo guys, we made it across it. We made it across the water thing. Yo, the water thing. We got across it. We got across it. Anyway, the blue team, they make it across Africa, and they're gonna start expanding. They made up with the red team. No one's there, so they don't really care. There is a little sign that says red team was here. Wow. Cool, I guess. Now, teams from the red and green, light and green team, they're like, I mean, there is a whole sea here over here. Why don't we just, like, go to that? So that's where we get the pink team. Pink team is going from the green team all the way around. They're like, yo, this is pretty cool. Why don't we settle ourselves right over here? Wow, what a nice area to settle ourselves around. Our capital will be right here. Now the pink team. What's so cool about the pink team is that they're pink, and they actually like doing stuff rather than expanding their country. Like, what is that? What is that? Get out. I don't want to see that. Get your weird lines out of my face. Anyway, the pink country, they're gonna expand outwards. Who doesn't love expanding outwards? Am I right, folks? Bruh. Anyway, that's the maximum they're gonna expand for now. They're just gonna loop around here a few bit. Anyway, 4 countries, 4 capitals. This is crazy. What is happening over here? These colors are annoying me. It's so weird. Why does it do this, guys? Tell me. Tell me, how do I prevent this? How do I prevent it? I can make this I can make episode 2 better, I swear. I just need to... I'm not too good at this, bro. That's why I said I'd try. There, that looks better. Colors! Yay! I love colors. Anyway. What should we do? Well, the red team, obviously. He's like, yo, blue team, why'd you have to steal this land over here? Yeah. Like, because we can't. There's nothing, no one owned it. So like, red team's like, yeah, cool. I have my eye on you. Don't meddle with any of my projects again. You hear me? The blue team's like, yeah, sure, I don't care, bro. The red team is now very angry, and they're just, so what do? They expand into Africa. And they're like, wait, Europe is also cool. Well, this area here is also cool. So why don't we just ignore the mountains and go through it? Well, it's more just hilly aridness, but we're gonna take it. Now the green team's like, oh, nah. Hell freaking nah. The green team, they're gonna take the rest. They are. Their team's like, oh, you exist? Since when? Since we stopped liking. Hey, that's not very nice. Yeah, that's the point. So the red team is now set. Now these guys are going through mountains, and they don't like mountains. What they're gonna do? Go up. They're gonna go up. Just up. Now the pink team, they're small. They're actually the smallest out of these 3 things that they already know about. Because they came from all those 3 things. Alright, where was I? Alright, so, with this right now, I would say it would be a great time to add another country. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh wait, I was supposed to get these guys to expand. Never mind. Hold on. Expansion time. Well, hold on. Well, hey. Okay, that fixed it. But anyway, the pink team, they're going to expand down into the Iranian mountains, or whatever they're called. Hold on. And there we go. Now, blue, red, and purple team. Well, mainly these green and red team. Green and red team, mainly. They are going to form a yellow country. They are going to start their yellow country right up here. They started their yellow country because, well, they just wanted to do their own thing. But they are going to expand down into the Greek peninsula, and these people will be called the Greeks because they inhabit Greece. This is a peninsula, right? Yeah. It's a bad map, which I could obviously do way better, but I don't really have any maps. And don't forget, their capital could be right there. Can you see that? Yeah, it's visible. Anyways, this has been pretty fun to start a new series. And I'm hoping to expand it just like how all the other people who've done this. But thank you guys for watching this, and see you on episode 2, I guess.